You're merciless.
Hello and welcome to DCP SideQuest, episode number 80. I almost did it again, saying DCP Live. DCP SideQuest, episode number 80. I can't talk, apparently. You know why? Because it's February 1st. That's why. It's the second month.
You know why? Because we're eating Briar Rabbit live on air.
I had a piece of Briar. It was delicious.
Face.
It's got my brain all twisted.
I got barbecue Briar sauce all over my face.
All over yep, everywhere. Thanks, Briar. Jeez, it's got to be so messy, man. It's
February 1st.
That's the sound of uncomfortable laughing.
I laugh on the outside, but I hurt on the inside.
Oh, it is. It's the shortest month of the year, guys. February.
That's
Love
right.
Month.
Yeah.
Also, Black History Month.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
By no coincidence.
Love Month and Black History Month. There you go. So how's things? How was your weekend?
There's too many games to play right now, which
There
is kind of an awesome thing to say in like January, February. But there's just too much. There's too many games.
Are these new games, Briar? Are these past games you're revisiting?
New games. Yeah. Well, some new, some old, but mostly new. New to me.
There you go. That's what counts, right? When the game feels fresh to you, that's all that matters.
Yeah. I mean, like Cyber Shadow, I know Tefty's been playing that. Medium, everybody's been playing that. I've only gotten about 3 hours in. That's why I'm resisting doing the full spoiler show.
Oh, thanks, Briar. We could have dug in so hard.
It's 5 days old.
It's only 8 hours for a playthrough.
Is Cyber Shadow new? Is that old?
Yeah, it just came out last week.
Okay. I might have to play that.
It's free on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So if you have an Xbox or a PC, it's free there. I bought it on actually,
Switch?
it's funny. It came out. It was one of those like midnight releases, right? And I was like waiting for it. I was like doing the countdown. Like I can't wait to play this game. And it came out on the PlayStation 5 right at midnight. But the one I had pre-ordered was on the Switch, and that wasn't out yet. So I bought it again on the PlayStation 5 so I could play it at midnight, not realizing it was free on Game Pass.
Hilarious. I actually bought it on the Switch because I was like, well, this is a Switch game, right? Then I saw it was on Game Pass and I was like, wow, I'll play it on Game Pass on the TV. So now I have the Switch copy and the Xbox copy.
Yeah, I'm actually having a lot of fun playing on the Switch though, because I could just like pick up my Switch and it's a great game to play like on the couch, kind of sitting back. And the way it's, I guess we're talking about Cyber Shadow now.
Yeah,
everybody wants to hear about Medium.
What is Cyber Shadow? Talk about it.
Cyber Shadow is one of those like retro throwback games, but it's it's modern graphics. Oh, it's if you made a game with the power of today's machines, but we're hearkening back to something like Strider for the NES or Ninja Gaiden for the NES, like this is what you'd come up with. A lot like Shovel Knight is very much like a game looking back, in the style of something like DuckTales.
I got a free Briar. It's as if they made a NES or Super NES game without any of the hardware limits.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And it plays like that too. I mean, it feels like a modern game in a lot of ways, where there's a ton of different weapons. You upgrade your character in a lot of different ways, but essentially it's a side-scrolling ninja game, right? You run primarily from left to right or right to left. And overcome challenges, difficult challenges in a lot of ways, while swiping at things with your sword or using your kind of sub-weapons. Yeah. And it's really well done. It's made by Yacht Club, the same guys who did make Shovel Knight. And it feels of that quality.
Yeah.
Like it just, everything about it just feels very, held to a high standard.
It's very polished. Right?
Yeah, very polished. It's also fucking hard.
What let's see, I think I played up to level 4 or 5. The part where I had to put in effort and be like, all right, I gotta focus here, was the Mecha Dragon, because it was throwing all that BS, and I was like, how am I supposed to do this, man, in the water and all this crap?
That is a tough fight, because there's like this dragon that is like attacking you, by flying across the screen and shooting stuff at you.
Dragons,
but also
right?
You're on the water, and there's like these robots that you've got to hit out of the sky, and when their body drops, it becomes like a floating platform, and that's the only way you can really traverse the level with any kind of speed or do any attacks or anything. So you're kind of managing not only like avoiding attacks from the dragon, but also damaging the dragon and making sure you have a place to stand. So there's a lot going on, and there's a lot of parts like that. I just got up to level 6 last night, and I think there's 10 levels. That's what it shows on the map. And it is a game of incremental progress to me. It's like there's like a span of space between 2 save points. There's a lot of save points. Like, you're constantly finding save points, but it's like there'll be like challenges like, all right, in this little span, I have to now use this new power that makes me go a little faster, but it also almost makes me feel out of control while this like blob stuff is chasing me. And if I pass through these lasers, then this other thing is now chasing me. And it's like, oh God, there's so much going on.
Yeah, there's a lot of juggling.
It's a tough game, but it's fun. And it's kept my attention, which a lot of these like kind of retro throwback games don't. Like I start playing them and I'm like, all right, this is fun. But I'd just rather, like, this happened with the Messenger to me, is like, I like this game, but I'd rather just be playing Ninja Gaiden. Like, because Ninja Gaiden does what this does better. And Cyber Shadow, like, I find that I want to continue on to the next challenge. And I want to see what's next. I want to see, what special power-up is coming and what the level design is going to look like. Because it's really pretty too. Like, they do a great job with the art design stuff.
I like the whole concept of the clans too, and like when you go into the meditation zone and you have to like meditate on doing an achievement to get this next building and all that. I thought those were really cool.
It's a great level where you got to beat your monkey.
Yeah,
beat your
damn monkey.
Interesting.
It's a race, so you got to do it quick.
So what I've understood that this game is about ninjas masturbating. Wonderful. You sold it.
Cyber ninjas. Trying to beat the monkey. In a meditative space.
Nice. Okay. It is a meditative experience.
Yeah.
It's a good game though. I'm having a lot of fun with it. It's only like $15 or $20 too. So it's or if you have Game Pass, it's free. There's a lot of stuff on Game Pass right now. Like they just had a massive.
So good.
They just had a massive dump. Medium came out on Game Pass, which we're definitely going to talk a ton about. I got to bring up the list because it's just like huge dump of games. Yakuza 3, Yakuza 4, Yakuza 5, Yakuza Remastered, like the whole playlist, Cyber Shadow, which we talked about, Donut County, Control, Edith Finch, Desperados 3. Like, it's just a big old fat dump. And then if you have Xbox Live Gold, then you also get a ton of games this month. You get Resident Evil, like I think it's that remake that they did. You get Gears 5, Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb, which is an original Xbox game, which I remember playing and it was awesome. But I'm a kind of an Indiana Jones fan. Like I just, it's like if a Star Wars game comes out, I'm just gonna kind of like it because it's Star Wars.
Gonna play it regardless.
Yeah, Lost Planet 2 is out. Same kind of. It's going over on PlayStation. Right now we're getting Destruction All-Stars Control Ultimate Edition. Like,
I'm excited. I didn't play Control, so having that on the PS5.
You're in for a treat.
Yeah. I'm excited to try that on the PS5.
Yeah. Digital Foundry just uploaded a video about how it performs on the PS5, and they were pretty impressed.
Nice.
It does like a 30 FPS mode with ray tracing and a 60 FPS mode with no ray tracing, and like it looks good on both.
That's great. Yeah. Very cool.
But how do you feel about that? How do you guys feel about a game like this is the common trend right now? Is games being released and it's up to you to choose, do I want 60 or do I want 30? Like it's not the developers choosing for you anymore.
I like the option personally. I'd rather them give me options to experiment with as opposed to locking it into one mode that they thought was best when maybe other people are going to want a different experience, because like sometimes the ray tracing is okay. Sometimes it's awesome. Sometimes you definitely want to see the ray tracing because it really adds to the experience. And then other times it's like, it's fine off, so you might as well get the extra FPS boost. I think it's good that they're giving the options. It might be a little disappointing that this generation got the early stick of ray tracing. So now all the ray tracing stuff is in 30 FPS instead of 60.
True. Yeah.
It's a little unfortunate.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I generally tend to turn it off and play at 60 when given the option.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't think of any game where I've left it on. Like on PC, I'll try and optimize a game so it's running ray tracing at 60.
You know,
the medium.
The medium is a perfect game for being like, I want all the ray tracing, and I'm fine with 30.
Yeah, because there's no action.
Yeah. If it's an action game, I want a higher FPS. If I'm
define
not
game.
Are we? Is this a good segue into the medium?
I think it's time to talk about some medium.
Yeah. Also, speaking of Game Pass, so medium is on Game Pass. So if you have
for both PC and Xbox, in case people are wondering,
and there's cross save, so you can play on PC and then
that's really cool.
Did not know Xbox and go back and forth.
That is wonderful.
There is no Xbox One or One X version. So some people, because like right now,
paupers need not apply.
With Game Pass, you kind of think like everything that comes out on Game Pass is also going to be on base Xbox One and further. You know, there's kind of like an assumption that's kind of been made. And I don't know how many games are like this that are only Series X and S and PC. But, you know, it as Game Pass games go, this is a really awesome title to just suddenly have on a Game Pass.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm surprised by that, actually. It surprises me. Looking at the game, obviously it's got ray tracing all over it. So, like, they couldn't do that on Xbox One.
Yeah.
But nothing else about the game really screams at me and says, oh, they couldn't have done this on Xbox One. But I am only 3 hours into the game, so maybe I'm not seeing something at the end of the game that's like...
Oh, you haven't seen a lot.
Yeah, but is it like graphically, like they couldn't have done this on the Xbox One?
I think the dual reality stuff, especially when it switches really fast.
You're right.
And like even the dual reality, like a lot of people might just think that it's like the same thing, but it's the spirit realm and the normal realm. There's actually like slight differences and different angles that they're doing with the different realities.
Yeah, they're rendering two like basically different
two worlds at the same time. Yeah,
two worlds at the same time. They couldn't have done that on the Xbox One, not to that fidelity. Yeah, I'm wrong. You are correct.
And
Brian, I would actually like to know. So we know you're like 3 hours in. Where exactly are you? Like, what was the last thing that you did?
Well, I'm hanging out with Sadness.
Wait, hold on. Before you say anything, we should clarify that this is not going to be a spoiler.
Correct.
Discussion.
Yes, it is. Spoiler-free discussion. That's what we need to do right now.
Yeah, spoiler-free discussion of the medium. So if you're worried about getting spoiled about what happens in the story, we're not going to go into the meat of the story. So you're safe. We're just going to talk about impressions and all that. So
yeah.
But yeah, you meet Sadness. I mean, Sadness is like a early character, and that's very.
She's in the promos.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So did you just meet Sadness?
No, I've been hanging out with her quite a bit.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
So what do you think?
How do we want to approach this? Because this game is not.
It's different.
It almost looks like from the outside looking in, it almost looks like it's going to be like something like Resident Evil, which it does share a lot of similarities with, but it doesn't have any gunplay for real. And then it doesn't have that like kind of campiness of a Resident Evil. It takes itself much more seriously. But it does have like, especially of like early Resident Evils for the original PlayStation, it has that like fixed camera angle.
I just want to say, I love this camera angle so much. I love it. I need more games to use it because it's a fixed camera angle, but they've also like modernized the fixed camera angle because it will sometimes follow you sometimes it will do different things. And I love it because there's no like using the camera to peek around the corner and see what's over there. Like you have to commit to going in the room.
You
can't peek around. And that's
used artistically too. Like it really kind of frames like what you are looking at. The only thing I don't like about it is I find my character, like it takes me out of the experience a little bit because I'm bumping into shit a lot.
Yeah.
That's the controls like error.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's user error, but it's also, it's because I can't see like exactly where is this hallway and where is this?
No, I had that had that same experience because I was like always checking corners, and I'm always like bumping into stuff while I'm checking corners because you can't really see from those corners with the certain angles because like you want to look for secrets if there is any secrets that get revealed.
Yeah,
and I know what you mean.
Lot. Like you really got to look at every corner.
Yeah, so I agree on that because control wise, it wasn't like the most fluid. But it was also kind of part of the experience that you're a person walking around this area.
Yeah. But it's not tank controls. I keep hearing people saying this is Resident Evil style tank controls, and it's not. Tank controls are you push upward on your control stick and it makes your character move in the direction they're facing, and then you push left or right and it makes them turn. In this game, you just push in the direction that you want your character to move, and she goes that way. And I swear to God, like everybody I've heard talk about this game is saying it's got tank controls. It's not tank controls.
Well, it's tank light.
Tankish.
Tankish. Yeah, it's tankish controls.
It's just because of the use of the camera angle, right? So it's kind of just playing into that.
Yeah, and for me, tank controls always signify like your character moves in the direction it's pointing, not in the direction of the camera that's looking at it. Like that's how I've always
that's not what tank controls is. Tank controls are if you push forward, your character moves in the direction they're facing, and then you rotate your camera by your character by moving left or right on the stick.
Yeah.
So like a tank.
Different. Yeah. Yeah. Modernized tank controls.
So I guess we can talk about like the things like the score. The score I thought was amazing. That's not spoilery.
Creepy as shit, and it gives me the willies. It makes my hairs on my arms stand straight up.
And the score is done by the same guy who did Silent Hill score, which I can totally feel makes a lot of sense to me.
Yeah.
And not just the score, but the way that they've used audio. Like right at the beginning, they say, you know, this is best experience with a headset. And they're totally right. Because there's moments where some things are talking and it feels like they're talking inside of my ear, like they're in my brain. And I love it's kind of a similar thing to Senua's Sacrifice with that kind of feel with the audio. They've done such a good thing with the audio and the score. It's really good.
Yeah. I think the whole experience, it's like it's more of an experience than a game, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, because like there's a lot of the game things that they kind of just set aside and allow you to just experience in the environment, which I know can put a lot of people off if they're looking for like a fast experience or a fast romp through the game. It's not going to do that. You have to take your time. You have to pace yourself with like the environments because it wants you to comb through it. Like certain things don't become available unless you've checked other parts in the room, and then it's like, oh, now this is available to pick up over here or look at.
Yeah, it's if you're not into like world storytelling, you probably won't have a good time with it, because if you really need to read those letters and read the things that you find in order to make sense of the cutscenes and really appreciate what's happening. So if you don't like that, you might not like it. But I personally love the way that they tell the story through the world. It just made me feel more engrossed in it by picking up this thing and being like, wait, you mentioned this person's name. Wait, I remember that name. Also, now everything's like fitting together. Instead of a big reveal in cutscenes, there's like little reveals scattered throughout the world, and I really like that.
Yeah, they do slowly stack each part with each little thing you pick up, and like names are brought up, and then you see the senses or like the echoes start revealing even more. Like that was really cool to see that unfold. And you do have to pay attention because the story is very intricate and interwoven, and you will definitely be confused.
It assumes that the viewer has the intelligence to kind of suss it out.
It does, yeah. But it plays out like a psychological thriller movie. So if you're not paying attention to that, then you're going to be confused by the end of it.
It's exactly what it is. It's like a mystery psychological thriller experience.
Yeah. For me,
digging it so far. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Taffy.
Well, I was going to say, so story-wise or gameplay-wise, this is actually one of the issues I brought up in my review, is that I think the beginning definitely could have been shortened. And the reason I say that is because it did take a while to get into any kind of meat of the story. Like meeting Sadness, you know, it took you like 2 hours to get there, right? To meet Sadness.
Was it that long?
Yeah, it's about 2 hours to get there. Wow. And while there's a lot of emotional buildup in the mood and environment, I think a lot of that was just getting you used to what type of game it is. And I think a lot of people could have had that like cut down to like, all right, this is the type of game. Now let's get into the meat of what's happening here, because they set it up with the funeral home and they make you think it's going to be like a super terrifying game. And it is spooky, but like Marianne is like not phased, you know?
No.
Which takes a lot of the edge off of that. Oh my God, am I going to be freaked out every corner in the game?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd agree with that. Like, it doesn't present super well in the first half hour, but once you get going, like it's pretty compelling. Like, you want to find out like kind of the mystery of this, and it starts off with this, like the basic premise of it is like you get this kind of random ass phone call telling you to go to this Polish vacation house, like a pre end of the Cold War, while Poland was still communist. Like what is it? It's like a vacation place for like the people.
It's
like
a resort. Yeah.
And the setting is interesting. It's like just finding out what happened in this place is interesting. Trying to figure out all these mysteries. You're presented with a bunch of mysteries right off the bat, and they're all very compelling. But it does, like the first half hour when you're just exploring around like the initial area of the funeral home, it's a little boring, it's a little aimless, and it's got a little like it's a little hand-holdy, so it doesn't present super well right off the bat.
Yeah, I didn't feel that at all. I was like immediately engrossed and sold, and I love like every second of even the beginning. So if you're more like me, I don't know what that means. I don't know what more like me means, but that you might not mind the beginning.
A cannibal, if you like to eat people.
Cold-blooded cannibal.
And you love the beginning. You'll be like, this is great. This is wonderful. I like the way that they used colors and stuff in the game as well. Like in the beginning area, it is like very muted colors. There's not a whole lot of vibrant things. And then as you go through, more colors start happening, both in the spirit realm and the real world. So that's something that's really cool as well. I might actually want to replay through it and just kind of experience that again, because it is quite a short game. You can finish it in 8 to 12 hours. And especially if you've done it before and you're not scared of every corner, so you can kind of go a bit faster. I might want to re-experience some stuff.
Like so far, it's right on the limit of what I can handle for like creepiness. Like I'm playing it during the day with the lights on in the living room. My wife is laughing at me. Because we're having a snow day, so I was playing it a bit today before the podcast, and she's like, "You're such a little baby."
Oh man,
I'm like, this is scary. But it's just at that limit. It's not like Outlast, like absolutely terrifying all the time.
Yeah. So this is the thing with this game, right? This is why I will say that it's heavily more towards the mystery thriller and not so much horror. In the beginning, I think you could probably feel like this is going to be really spooky. And there's definitely moments where it is scary, but the game does not rely on jump scares or just straight up scaring you to make you feel uncomfortable. You start to learn that the game is just really freaking sad, and it's a story about people and the things that happen to people and the consequences of the things that happen to people, and less about just, oh, I'm gonna be scared. So I would say if you're someone who doesn't like scary games, this might actually be a good game for you to experience a scary-ish game, but not something that's gonna make you feel disturbed and grotesque and
I think that's pretty accurate, actually. Yeah, it's a good entry game. Yeah, good entry game into scary. Like, it's not horror, but it's like it's borderline horror.
Yeah. They just do a really good job with the use of the camera and the music to have you feel this atmosphere of things, which is why we keep saying it's like an experience game, because you're walking through and you really are having this experience of things being uneasy and creepy and like all the revelations that come around. So definitely not just a straight up horror game like what they've made before with Layers of Fear, which was all jump scares from Bloober, and Blair Witch. This is kind of different.
So
no thanks.
I will say though, because it leans so heavily on the experience side, I do think some of the gameplay side is lacking. And part of it is the intricacy of the levels. Like, it was really cool to see what they were doing with the whole split screen stuff. But I really feel like it was underutilized from a puzzle complexity side. Like, I feel like they could have leaned more into doing Resident Evil style puzzles, which that might have hurt a certain player population that just wanted to experience the game. So I understand that. But like, from a gameplay point of view, I think it could have benefited from some extra puzzle complexity. Like, there's no key system. You basically, like, you get the wire cutters, and that's the thing that's unlocking most of the areas in the future is once you've got the wire cutters, Like, there's no evolution of items that you're getting in there. So I don't know. It's one of those things. Like, you might love it the way it is because it gave you a certain experience, and you don't want that changed at all. And then you might want more gameplay out of it.
I was really happy with everything. I think this is one of my favorite games now, just because. And no spoilers of what they delve into exactly, but there's a lot of dark things that they touch on in this game. And I think they do it in a really respectful way, not in a way of just like, we're going to show you this thing so it shocks you.
Yeah.
They do it in a way that makes sense and makes you. It's about the gray area of humanity, right? Like, people can do really bad things, but then you find out what happened to them, and you're like, well, now I don't feel like they're just an asshole. Of course, what they did is still wrong, but it kind of does the gray area thing of humanity. And I think they handled that really well. And it's difficult for games and any media to deal with things that are very, very dark. And I think they did it really well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm looking forward to put more time into this. I'll probably finish it up in the next couple of days.
So without spoiling,
I would love to hear what you say.
Yeah. So without spoiling anything, Watts, what did you think of the ending? Did you like it?
I think... Did I like it? I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it for a few reasons.
Okay. No spoilers.
No spoilers. I think, yeah. Yeah. I don't know if I can say anything else without spoiling.
Did you like that what they did? Like, I guess you just said that you did like what they did, but like, would you prefer them to do something else at all? I don't know.
It depends if there's a medium 2 or not.
Interesting.
It kind of lent itself a bit. Did you watch all the way to the end of the credits?
Yeah.
So it does kind of seem like there could be a hint of that in the air.
Yeah. I think if there is the number 2, I really like it.
Okay.
If there's not,
that's fair.
I'm like, huh.
No, you're right. That is the perspective. I think that's how I'm feeling too, because I'm not sure if there's going to be a number 2. And if there isn't, then I kind of feel like it's a cop-out. And I'm like, come on, man.
If there isn't, I need an anime or a comic or a movie or a Netflix series or something.
Yeah, not to deter anyone from wanting to finish it, but it kind of ends in like a season 1 cliffhanger. Yeah,
it's honestly, it might be kind of what you expect from the game when you're playing it, because the game does leave a lot of stuff up to you figuring it out and connecting the dots. So an ending like this actually didn't surprise me. I kind of figured that maybe something like this would happen just because of the way that the game has played out. There's some things that they straight up tell you, but there's other things where they're like, yeah, I don't know, maybe. What do you think?
I didn't feel that in this. I felt like it was such a clear distinction that they could have gone one way or the other on it. And then if there was like, now you pick in your mind which way it went. And I don't know. I'm like 50-50 on it. And one way it's brilliant to do stuff like that. But on the other side of it, it's like a cop out. It's like, well, why not pick the choice, you know?
And that's why it leans on the medium 2.
Yeah.
Because I think if there is a medium 2, and depending which way they go with that, I think that either way could be really cool.
Yeah.
Are they planning any DLC for this?
No idea.
I'm trying to look it up right now, but it's very hard to search engine this game.
Yeah, it was really difficult because it's called the medium. And if you do the medium game, the medium game doesn't come up. So I tried the medium bloober, which helps a little bit. But then you kind of just get articles with interviews from the dev team, which are interesting because there's an article about their inspirations for the game and the level design between the spirit world and the real world. So there's some really interesting stuff.
Yeah.
This game to me is the perfect reason for a service like Game Pass to exist. Because I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't have gone out and bought this game. It's just not. It's not to my taste, like or to the taste of or what I think are my taste. Right? It's like it's kind of scary, which I don't really like. It's not big on action, not big explosions. Like that's kind of like what I'm hoping for in a game. But this being on Game Pass gives it a chance to just like, hey, I'm not losing anything by downloading this and checking it out.
Yeah.
And so then you come out and find out you really like it. Maybe it even opens up like a whole world of different kinds of games that you didn't even know you were gonna like. And I think that is a really cool thing about Game Pass. I'm really excited that it's on here.
I think this is the perfect Game Pass game. I really do. Like it's also such a high production value for just a Game Pass game. Now you can obviously buy it, and it's $50, and I honestly think that's too much money for a 8 to 10 hour experience. I don't think you can replay for other things. Like obviously you could replay for the experience, but like I got like 31 out of 39 of the achievements from just a standard playthrough. So most of the achievements were knocked out.
Yeah, you pretty much, it's just knocking off achievements when you pick shit up off the floor.
Yeah. Right. Exactly.
I kind of want to turn off the achievement pop-up for this game because it's a little distracting. Like it takes away from the mood of the
game.
I
didn't have it on. Yeah, I didn't have
it on
the
either.
achievement thing on. For me, the price point, I personally would pay it, and I think that it's worth it. But I am a huge fan of those very early Resident Evil games and the use of that camera, and I'm a huge fan of Silent Hill. And this game is like, it's not action like Resident Evil and those kind of games, but it's got a lot of feel from those kind of old school thriller games. So it's like right up my alley. And it's one of those games that I come away with and I will always remember the experience that I had with this game. And the things that were revealed to me are probably going to stick with me for a while. So those experiences I really value because there's not many mediums in general, no pun intended, that really stick with me for a long time after the fact. Like it's not something that happens all the time. So I really appreciate this game for doing that.
Well, I guess the reason why I bring up the price is that like Senua's Sacrifice, I think it was $30 or 25 or $30, right? Oh no, maybe it was $40 when it first came out. Yeah, it was definitely not. I don't remember either. It was definitely not $60, and I don't think it was $50 either. I'm pretty sure it was somewhere between 30 to 40. And I feel like this game is a $25 to $30 title if you don't have Game Pass. But obviously they wanted it.
I think that's fair.
Yeah, they want it to be a Game Pass title because it launched that way, and I really think it's an incredible value for Game Pass to just be like, you may not like this style of game, but at least you could try it, and then it might actually hook you. You might be like, oh, this is my jam right now to just be in this super creepy world and experience it.
There's been talk about this. I know Phil Spencer's talked about this a bunch of times about how he hopes that Game Pass becomes an avenue for games that aren't necessarily going to be the AAA, like, multi-million-dollar sellers, but still like a developer has a great idea or a great concept. This is a place where, Game Pass is a place where they can put that and hopefully make the money that it makes sense to make these medium games, not small games, not like the indie games like Cyber Shadow, but not like the AAA games, like a Uncharted or something like that. But something like this, where it's a little more niche, it's got to have the high production values to get what it wants to get done. Like that. Having the two cameras, like, is a really cool thing, and it, I think it so far in the, in the short time I've had the game, it's been used to really cool effect. But that can't have been an easy thing to develop, right?
No,
right, yeah.
I think you hit it on the head on that. I mean, like this is a great Game Pass title that, like, I think exemplifies what he's trying to do with the Game Pass experience.
Yeah, I'm really hoping that Sony follows in the footsteps of the Game Pass and offers a similar service. Like they have the games that they put out for free with, if you have the PlayStation Plus service. But this is a little different than that. Game Pass is a place for these games to live and to breathe and to, to attract people who may not have gone after a game like this if they saw it in a store for $50 and it had to compete with Call of Duty and Uncharted. But Game Pass is a way. It's almost like Netflix. Like, I'm not sure if I'm gonna like this, but I'll check out the first half hour and see. It's a cool service in that way. And like as a gamer right now, I feel very lucky as a gamer that we have so many cool and different options for enjoying games.
Yeah. I mean, did we talk about this last week? Game Pass getting up to 18 million subscribers.
Yeah,
they were at 15 million in September, and now they're at 18 million, and they've become. I read an article, so this might have just been misrepresented in the article, but I believe it's become the leading value or gross value income generator for Microsoft.
I read that too. That's pretty interesting. Right? Actually, did I read it or did you just tell me it? It might have been that, actually. Now that I think about it, you might have just told me that last week.
There's articles about it. Either way, Game Pass is definitely like looking to be successful for Microsoft, you know?
Yeah. 18 million seems like a lot. I don't know, like there hasn't been a lot of transparency for like what are developers making off of this, like this system, and like, but they keep adding games to it, so there must be a financial reason to do it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm assuming it's like a large upfront amount of money initially to develop these games.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, because you're not going to make any money off of, maybe it's like Netflix where they pay you. I don't know. I really don't know. They haven't really. It hasn't been very transparent, but
yeah, royalties,
they keep adding
maybe
games to it, and developers seem very happy with Microsoft right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like governments. You can be happy now, but that doesn't mean you're gonna be happy in 4 years, right?
Change soon, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't wait for you to.
Spencer's not gonna live forever.
I can't wait for you to finish the medium, Briar. Because there's
I'll finish it this week, and we'll have like a spoiler. How about we have a spoiler conversation at the end of next week's episode?
Yeah.
And if we do it at the end of the episode, that way anybody isn't gonna miss anything in the show.
Where you're at is where it starts getting really good for the story.
Yeah.
Because it starts peeling back layers fast. You're like, whoa, this is crazy. This is crazy. Then some other crazy stuff happens. You're like, whoa, okay, I got to see what happens.
The stuff for me to talk about the game and what I think about it, a lot of it is in spoilers because of the way that they've handled things and revealed things. So that's going to be really exciting when you finish it. It's going to be great.
Yeah.
I loved it, though. I loved it.
I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really enjoyed my experience. Yeah. I think okay, we didn't talk about performance. PC struggled.
Yeah.
There was some areas. So I played at 1440p. I did have ray tracing on, and again, I have an RTX 3070. So this shouldn't be like a ball buster for my PC. But there was a lot of areas that were definitely not holding 60 FPS, and there were some areas where I'd pick up a basic object that does not look graphically intense, and it would bring it to 5 FPS, and I was like, "What is happening?"
They just issued a patch, I think, last night that I think improved performance.
That's
on
good
PC.
To hear. That's definitely good to hear. Yeah.
But yeah, I started on PC. I was like, no, I'm not gonna do this. Like, because I already see that the game runs fine, 30 FPS on Xbox, and I can play that in the living room.
And you have an Xbox.
I just immediately went down to the. I just went and downloaded it on the Xbox and started playing it. On the Xbox, it only runs at 30 FPS. But it's like Watts said earlier, it's not an action game.
Yeah.
60 FPS is nice. But to be honest with you, it's like the animations aren't such that you're going to appreciate them at 60 FPS as opposed to 30 FPS. It's a very cinematic looking game anyway. The developer even said that they kind of developed the game with 30 FPS in mind, which shows on the PC.
Yes, it does. Yeah, they give you options. It goes 30, 60, and then unlimited. And rough.
Yeah, it's rough on the PC. Hopefully they can clean that up a little bit. But I mean, once you turn on ray tracing on a PC game at this point, it's a crapshoot what you're gonna get, really.
Yeah, it really is. And I think that's one of the benefits, or like the real shining points right now of these next gen consoles, of having having a solution that is like just works for the most part for both ray tracing. You're either gonna get 30 or 60 FPS. You're going to get 4K typically, or for the most part 4K, and HDR. HDR works like pretty much all the time, aside from a few adjustments with your brightness and all that. And that's really nice. Like, I like that. That's why I want a Series X as well.
Yeah, I honestly, so we have a Series X, but we use it in the living room for like mostly watching shows because it works with our surround systems. We can watch like movie quality experience movies. So I had to move it from the living room into the office. But honestly, playing this game and seeing how it is on PC in comparison to console makes me want to get another one to have in the office at all times. And then if there's a game that comes out that is an Xbox PC exclusive, I'm just going to play it on the Xbox, because there were moments where there was like a slight little bit of lag, I guess, in the game on Xbox.
Okay.
But it never dipped like crazy low. There was never any like crazy stutters. It happened maybe 3 times throughout the whole game. So besides those 3 times, I had like a flawless experience with the medium on Xbox.
That's great to hear. Yeah.
So
I don't think it takes much away from this game to play it at 30 FPS either.
No.
I know that the developer said that they actually personally preferred playing it at 30 FPS. And for this game, like 30 FPS is totally fine.
Yeah. Usually when I read that, I'm like, oh, okay, so you didn't optimize this game and you're making up excuses. But for this game, you can honestly see what they might have meant.
Yeah.
Like visually, it reminds me of Control a little bit. And Control, like they got the Ultimate Edition coming out for PlayStation. It's gonna be a free PlayStation 5 game with PlayStation Plus.
What is Ultimate Edition? Like, what do you get?
I think it's got all the DLC and shit like that.
Okay.
It's also gonna take full advantage of ray tracing and
nice.
But it's got like that. That's a game that you can choose between 30 FPS and 60 FPS, like we were talking about earlier. And I definitely want to, because it's so heavy on the action. It's so heavy on like all these particle physics and shit flying through the air. Like there's just so much going on. I definitely want 60 FPS in that game, or I do. Mm-hmm. But the medium, totally 30 FPS is fine.
Yeah. I'm excited for you to finish it, bro.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it too. You guys want to talk about the fat stacks we made off of GameStop?
Game stonks?
Huh? Oh my God.
Stonks?
Dude, we're moving out of here. We got a high-class mansion in the hills.
The Hamptons?
We're out. In the Hamptons. Look, we're just trying to move as far away from Massachusetts as we can.
Okay. Gotcha.
The stench is unbearable.
Oh, man. This is crazy, man.
This is the weirdest and coolest story that I've heard in forever. So can I run through this real quick? Just kind of like the overview.
Yeah.
All right. So essentially what happened is a small group of Redditors realized that certain people on Wall Street, basically hedge funds, had way overbought, had way overshorted the stock of GameStop, which means that they had basically sold the stock at a lower price than what it was worth, and then with the promise of buying it back, right? And these people on Reddit basically said, well, if we buy it now and raise the price of it, we can make a ton of money very quickly. And that's what they did.
And screw the hedge fund. And screw the hedge fund, yeah.
Which I think was a secondary benefit. Like, I don't think that they were actually, like, that wasn't their goal. They weren't out there to try and screw the hedge fund. That was definitely a side benefit, but they were out there to make a bunch of money because the GameStop stock was at $4. The hedge funds thought it was going to go down low, so they bought 140% of the stock that was currently available, or they had shorted 140% of the stock that was currently available. So it was just ripe for the picking right there. So they did that, and then the interesting part is that Wall Street threw an absolute shit fit when they found out that like people were doing this. They cut off a lot of people's ability to buy stock at all or buy this stock through different apps like Robinhood, TD Ameritrade did it. A bunch of the stock buying apps did it. And like even people in government were like, well, wait a minute, you guys aren't playing by fair rules here, because anybody with access to a broker by phone can still buy and sell this stock, no problem. But if you're using an app or an online account, then your access to buying stock was severely limited, which really brought up the point of like, this is a rigged game. The rich have rigged this game for themselves, obviously. And now when we've tried to exploit it, is they're cutting off our access, which I think really has added to the fact that like, now people really do want to screw over the hedge funds. Like that is definitely a motivation.
That was one of the main motivations. I thought the motivation was they saw the hedge fund buy a bunch of stock or do the short, and they were like, hey, let's screw these guys by raising the price so that when they do have to buy it back or to have the tally come up, they're going to lose billions, which has been the case.
They did.
Yeah.
That's how it works. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really interesting, like, to read into like exactly the mechanics that were at work here, and like the side benefit of this was that like people realized that AMC was in the same position, the movie theater chain, and that actually the fact that this happened actually saved that company because they were so far in debt that they were about to go out of business, and because shares rose because of this activity, they're in the clear for the rest of the year. Like they're going to make it, like for the rest of the year at least. Also, which means that hopefully when COVID is gone, we'll have movie theaters to go back to.
Right? Also, I think, if I recall this correctly, Citadel is an owner of Robinhood, and Citadel is also part of the hedge fund, or is in cahoots with the hedge fund as getting screwed. So I think another reason why Robinhood froze all transactions on that, unless you wanted to sell, was because they're directly connected to Citadel, which is connected to the hedge fund. So they're like, hey, you're screwing us. We're going to stop this. And that, which is another reason why, hey, what the, free market? Come on. You're supposed to allow us to be able to buy and sell on this. I
also read that our Treasury Secretary, newly appointed by Biden, had been paid $810,000 for 2 speaking engagements by Citadel in 2019.
Damn. That's a lot of money to speak.
Robinhood, in an interview, the CEO of Robinhood in an interview actually had mentioned that he got a call from the White House, which was interesting. So,
be interested to see how this plays out, how the chips fall, huh?
My guess is nothing happens.
By the way, I also think the reason I believe to hold the stock is because they have to then buy it back, and they'll have to buy it back at a higher price, which then drives the stock up even higher. So it's like a never-ending cycle of the process of the stock constantly rising from that, which screws the people who have to.
I think the big buyback was on Friday, though.
Oh, was it? Yeah,
I think so. I haven't been following it too much over the weekend, but I think the big buyback was on Friday. Did you guys do it? Did you guys buy any stock?
We did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, definitely did. We also got some Dogecoin,
Yeah, so did I.
Just to be a part. I just want to be a part of history. You know what I'm saying?
Right? Like, if there's a chance that I could fuck over rich people, I'm definitely going to take that chance. I didn't buy much. And to be honest with you, the GameStop thing, I think I bought like way too late for the big money, because people bought at $4.
Yeah.
And it went up to like $379 or something like that. So they made a fortune. I bought when it was like $120. So it was like way too late.
But it's crazy.
But I still made some change.
It's crazy to think back to that. Like, you had to been okay with the idea that you were going to buy GameStop stock at $4 with the idea that this might just go south, completely and be really bad. You're like, you might be losing a couple grand or something like that. But if you did, holy crap, you made a ton of money.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God.
I'd love to see the stats for the Wall Street Bets Reddit. That's where this kind of idea originated, like with a small group of users on Wall Street Bets, who then spread the idea to get like enough people to actually drive the stock price up. I'd love to see the subscriber numbers of Wall Street Bets before, like, let's say January 1st to February 1st.
Yeah.
Because I bet there's a lot of people like, I want to be around for the next time this happens.
What we buying next, huh?
Yeah, right?
This happened. That's a wild story.
I know that people, not only could people who are already signed up for a lot of the stock trading apps and like web stores and stuff like that, not only could they not buy the stocks that they wanted to buy, but they had restricted new signups. Like, you couldn't even sign up.
Wow. That bad.
Yeah, and they instituted harsher verifications as well, because they were just trying to keep people from doing it.
They're like, do you have a Reddit account? Okay, sorry, you can't trade here.
Yeah, it's confirmed what we all thought, right? It's like, we all thought the game was rigged, and now it's like, well, we could see now in action how they rig it. Like, yeah. So like, will anything happen? I don't know. Did anybody do anything illegal here? I think probably the CEO of Robinhood did, right?
Yeah.
Seems like.
That seems illegal. Yeah. That's
like, if it wasn't illegal, it should be.
Yeah.
No, I mean, that's straight up market manipulation.
Yeah. 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It is crazy.
A crazy story for 2021 to kick things off.
Yeah. I gotta say, it's a lot better than most of the stories we're getting in 2020. So hopefully we're on the upward climb here, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're getting out of the shit. Although Watts was telling us about people burning vaccines, and that wasn't a happy story.
It's happened like all over the world.
Oh my God.
There's been people unplugging freezers, refrigerators that need to keep this stuff cold, because if it's not going to work.
The thing is,
and setting things on fire.
The thing is, there's no shortage of stupid in the world.
No, there's not. Sure wish there was.
Got to figure out an app to stop the stupid. Reduce it at least.
I thought that was Facebook. You just kind of keep them all contained, talking to each other.
Oh man, that's crazy.
You know what else happened today?
Yeah, what else? What else?
The Google Stadia.
What happened to Google Stadia?
Tell me something good, because I keep forgetting to cancel this subscription.
Okay, I will tell you something great. Google shuts down its internal Stadia game studios.
Oh.
Stadia service will continue, but we'll see third-party games. But the focus is on partnering with other companies. They are letting go 150 developers.
What were they making?
Who are working on Google internal Stadia games.
Well, the writing's on the wall there, I'd say.
Mm-hmm.
I hope you didn't buy any games inside the Stadia app, because you're going to lose access to those.
It's like,
this has always been the fear, right? With Stadia. It's like, if I love this service and I buy into it, that means I got to buy games in Stadia. And the only way I can play them is in that Stadia service. So if Google closes that service, which they are pro to do, they shut down services all the time. Like, they're always throwing shit at the wall. If it doesn't stick, they shut it down. But this one is a little different, because you can spend a bunch of money inside that Stadia service buying games that you would lose access to if they shut it down. It's why the business model was borked from day one. It's why it never made any sense from day one.
Yeah, like what Google Stadia needed was a Game Pass-like system. You sign up for the service of Stadia, you get all the games, as many as you want, just download however many you can. There you go. But having to pay for the service every month and then pay for games, it's just not going to work. Why?
No. That's why Lumia, I think, actually has a shot. If they can get... It seems like every time I talk about Lumia, nobody knows what the fuck I'm talking about. But Lumia is like the Amazon... it's the Amazon equivalent service, right? It's the same kind of thing where you're playing games on Amazon servers, like remotely, with like a Lumia controller and a little dongle attached to your TV. But it's a very equivalent service. But their business model is that it's much more like Game Pass, where you're renting the games with your service fee, as opposed to buying the games inside. Oh, Luna. Sorry, Luna. That's why nobody knows what I'm talking about, because I'm calling it something different. Luna. But yeah, it's a much better. It seems like, from the outside looking in, a much better service model. But I don't know if that. Yeah, I think it's live.
Oh wow, I had no idea.
Maybe it's just in beta. I'm not sure. I haven't tried it out yet, because I'm just not sold on remote playing video games.
Well, what's Xbox's current situation right now with their streaming service?
I think it's still in beta.
Mm-hmm. Because
what's that one called? I always forget the name of that one.
Same, but like, that is the biggest juggernaut that they have to compete with. As soon as Xbox's Game Pass allows for their streaming service to really work, then
xCloud,
yeah, then it's like all bets are off for any other service, because that's going to be the de facto. It's the Netflix right now of games. It's only going to get better.
It'd be awesome too, is if your game saves, like, imagine if you can play the medium on your PC in your office, go to the living room, play the same save on your Xbox, and then when you're, like, let's say you're you're traveling or something, you can play the same save on xCloud. Like that trifecta, it's just marvelous.
That'd
right?
Be amazing.
Because then you're not like tied, like you're not tied to one. You could just play whatever game you want to play in the most convenient way that's possible. Like if you're sitting in the DMV, you pull out your phone and you play a little medium, while you're waiting. Like that kind of thing. It's just like, that is a killer app. And if it's just tied, like if you get xCloud as part of the Game Pass Ultimate service, like if they don't end up charging more money for this, if they just like build it in, at least initially, for free, like they're gonna get a lot of people like, oh, this actually works pretty good.
Yeah, like that's, in my opinion, that's the silver bullet to the other services, because that's how are you gonna compete with that? How are you gonna compete? I mean, like Microsoft has bought studios. I mean, Bethesda, like they have bankrolled a ton on this, and now it's paying off. And you're gonna have to compete with that if you're gonna start another streaming service. This is gonna be the way to go in the future for streaming.
Yeah. Yeah, the Google Stadia, I don't know. It launched in such a bad state. It never really got off the ground. It never really promised. It never gave us everything that it promised us before launch. Remember how they were saying that you'd be able to be watching a YouTube video of a game and just click a button and start playing it in the browser that you're watching? Like, that never materialized. And that was, to me, a pretty killer feature. Like, as somebody who makes YouTube videos, can you imagine like having that power of like, I'm watching Tefty play the medium, or I'm watching Watts play the medium on YouTube. This game looks interesting. I can just click the button and start playing it. That's amazing. But
yeah,
they never got there. Plus, the pricing model right from the get-go was a huge mistake. I still think if they changed the pricing model to be something more like a Netflix model, where if like you paid $20 a month, but you got access to every game that was inside Stadia, I think then you'd have some real converts.
A better chance,
like,
yeah.
Holy shit.
But they also did that thing. What was it? The quote? It was like, well, there's no games or something, or like they were like, developers, just make games for it. Come on now. They took some sort of arrogant viewpoint of being like, you got to develop for it. Come on, what are you talking about? Like, it's there or something. And it's like, yeah, that's not going to work for the service.
I've been paying for that service for like 2 years now. I can't believe it. I just keep forgetting to cancel that subscription.
It's hilarious.
Yeah. Yeah.
Guys, I know it's pretty late, but there was some gameplay put up by IGN of a game called The Day Before, which is The Last of Us meets The Division in an open world post-pandemic MMO set in an America overrun by flesh-hungry infected humans.
You're saying a lot of cool things.
A lot of cool words. I'll share the tweet of this. I'm sure there's like something on YouTube as well, but this is like a 5-minute video that they tweeted out from IGN. And I know that we've been burned by the games as a service or MMOs or any game that wants to just keep progressing and always be online and be like this cooperative thing. But if this nails it, this game could be really fun.
Ooh, this looks
good. It looks really cool. It's something
like The Division. Like, it looks exactly like The Division.
Well, zombies.
I haven't seen any of the zombies yet.
There's
right at the beginning.
It's post-pandemic MMO, Brian. There's flesh-hungry infected humans.
I just saw the part that looks like Division. I see where.
Yeah.
Yeah, this looks cool. I wonder when it's going to be out.
Let me see if there's more information about it. The Day Before. Let's see.
Oh, there's a zombie. Okay. That was like a Resident Evil zombie eating somebody on the floor.
So yeah, there's 5 minutes of in-game footage showcasing the game's third-person shooter gameplay alongside stealth, crafting, and inventory mechanics. The Day Before is set following a global pandemic, relevant, where a zombie-like enemy called the Infected wreak havoc on what remains of the human race. Players have to be on their toes as they explore cities to scavenge for survival items such as bandages and weapons. Along the way, players will run into other groups of hostile humans, as well as hordes of the infected, incorporating both PvP and PvE elements. Also the clip highlights the game's HUD, which features 3 small gauges for temperature, energy, and thirst. Players will have to monitor and maintain all of it. I know, right? I love that. You telling me I'm going to get cold? I got to put on warm clothes when I go into a cold climate? Yes.
What was that game mode? What was that game mode for the Division 1 with the cold?
Oh, yeah.
What was the name of that?
I can't remember.
God, it was so good.
Survival.
They didn't survival mode. They never like really followed up on that idea. But I thought that game mode of that game was more fun than anything they made in Division 1 or Division 2.
That game mode.
It was so fun, and if somebody's like building, like expanding upon that idea, and that's what kind of this feels like or looks like from this trailer.
Also, it's a PC only game, which is probably disappointing for a lot of people, but when I hear that it's only coming on PC, I get a little bit happy because I know that they're just developing for PC, which means that hopefully the experience is going to be good and it's going to run well if they're only developing for PC. You can currently find it on the Steam you can find the Steam store for it. It can be wish listed. It also has the minimum and recommended requirements for the game, and there's no release date at all right now. It's just a announcement of it.
I'm definitely interested in this.
Yeah, it's totally a game that I would be interested in. And where you're fighting to survive, and then you find other players as well, and you have to fight to survive. It's just got all the things that I like.
The gunplay looks fun too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, visually it looks really
good. And the cowboy hat.
Cowboy hat.
Yep.
Honestly, this is kind of like Division meets Zombies meets Tarkov for an MMO.
Yeah. There's a lot to like there. Hopefully they can pull it off. Hopefully it comes out as a really cool game.
Yeah, I hope so. I do hope so.
Who's this developer?
My language.
I don't know this developer at all.
The developer is the Wild 8. Let's see, the Wild 8. Oh, that's the game they made, I think.
Oh, okay.
The game they made was the Wild 8. It's made by Fantastic. That's it. Yeah. But they made the Wild 8. If anyone knows what the Wild 8 is, but they made Fantastic. Let's see, what else did they make?
Looks really cool.
It sounds familiar. Wild 8 sounds familiar, but it also sounds so generic that it could just be reminding me of like 10 other games that sound like it. Like Wild
The Day
Arms
Before kind of sounds generic too. That's another thing.
A little bit.
They've only done 2 games, Radiant 1 and the Wild 8.
Cool.
Yeah, this is like super reminiscent of The Division. Like it really has a similar style to it.
Yeah. Cool.
I'm sold.
They're
Sign
speaking
me up.
my language.
Yeah, when's the open beta, man?
Right? How do I sign up for the
this game's going to be in beta for like 5 years.
It very well, maybe.
Everything is.
It's going to be a server wipe every like 9 months.
Yeah. That's okay.
Yeah.
I like the look of it. It looks like it could be fun.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
If they nail it, it could be a really, really good game.
Yeah. Even if sometimes you don't even have to nail it. Sometimes you just got to have enough of something like new and interesting to get me to play it 2,000 hours.
Yeah. No, it's true. You don't have to make it perfect, but if you have like the gameplay is fun, the concept is fun. Like if you have the base of the game that is good and it works and it is a good time,
the ingredients.
Then exactly.
I agree.
And you can nail the rest later if you need to.
Yeah. Or ruin it.
That too.
I like this. Thank you, Lass, for sharing this with us. This is very cool looking.
Yeah, of course. I saw it on my timeline and I was like, ooh.
Before we wrap up the episode, what's the schedule for February looking like? Is there any other big games coming out in February?
Ooh. So we do have this is not a new game, but the Neo 2 collection where it's getting bumped up to 120 FPS is releasing on Steam. So finally people who don't have a PlayStation will be able to experience the game.
Yep.
So that's really cool. Let's see. Video game releases. Where's this? This is this episode where we Google things for you.
Right?
So you don't have to.
There we go. Game Informer's
February. So we have Control Ultimate Edition.
Cobra Kai, the Karate Kid saga continues. Sold.
That's true.
What platform?
Scott Pilgrim Saves the World. Scott Pilgrim vs. the World.
That came out last week,
Complete Edition. Oh, it says it comes. No, you're right. January 14th. Oh, and Karate Kid is already out too. I'm in January. My bad.
Little Nightmares 2 is coming out. I know that lots of people love Little Nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
So Little Nightmares 2 is coming out. I love the visuals of that game. Game is cool.
I never played it. The first one.
Yeah, me neither.
Maybe it's time to jump into the first one now so you can play the second one in February.
Yeah, get caught up for Little Nightmares 2.
Destruction All Stars comes out tomorrow, and that's probably not to everybody's taste, but to me, it looked interesting enough that when it was going to be a launch game, a physical copy of a launch game, I was going to buy it.
And now you can just
PS5.
get it for included.
Yeah,
there you
which
go.
is
Not
cool.
for free, but included. There's a game coming out called Werewolf: The Apocalypse Earthblood.
Those are words that I like.
It's a werewolf action RPG. So
that sounds
I'm
awesome.
down.
Yeah.
Werewolf action RPG. Can I get legendary claws?
Is it based off of the pen and paper RPG?
I don't know. I don't know much of. I heard about it in passing. Okay, let's see.
Get exotic fur on your back.
Oh, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury is coming out on the 12th.
That's right. Yeah, it's this month too.
Oh, Persona 5 Strikers is coming out for PlayStation 4, Switch, and PC.
Werewolf the Apocalypse.
Ghosts and Goblins Resurrection is coming out. Did you guys see this game? So it's the old Ghosts and Goblins game, right? That you remember from the Genesis, Super Nintendo, and arcade.
Classic.
But it's done in 3D graphics, but in a way that almost makes it look like paper cutouts. Like almost like, you know how the Monty Python in between sketches had like the paper kind of collage kind of sketches? It almost has that kind of look to it. It's really weird looking. I'm definitely buying it. I don't know if it's going to be good. Like those games are already really good. So it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting. I'm definitely getting the Neo Remastered Collection. So watch, do you happen to know about this? Is the Neo Collection Neo 1 and 2? Both the remasters and the collection?
It's all the DLC, right?
It's everything?
Definitely all, I know there's Neo 2 the complete addiction.
The addiction, Neo 2.
It's true. It is true. I don't actually know. I could have sworn I heard that they were putting out something that has all of it together.
Yeah, it seems like this is it. I just clicked on the link to GameStop, and it looks like it's Neo Remastered and Neo 2 Remastered. Both take complete edition, and it's only $70 for both games.
That's a great
value.
God. The amount of hours that you can spend in like Neo 2, I can still play that game and get different builds. And this is just for one weapon. If I decide that I want to do a different weapon, I then have to farm all of the stuff for that weapon. Like that game has so much replayability. I'm really hoping that a lot of people try it on PC and it gets a lot of traction because they don't do a lot of advertising in the West. They only really do a bunch of advertising in Japan.
If you buy them both separately, they're each $40. So buying them together seems like the way
Might
to
as
go.
well just buy it together.
But there are, if you buy the separate editions, there is a special edition for each of them, which does look kind of cool. It's got a steelbook case, an art book. You know, it's got the whole, everything you need to put on your shelf that you is already full with other shit that you never look at.
Cool. So there's some stuff. There's some stuff to look forward to.
I'm gonna check out the werewolf situation. I might check it out.
I might check that out too. What? That looks cool.
Like it just says that you have to master your 3 forms and their powers.
3 forms.
What's the third form?
Yeah. You got human, you got werewolf. What's the third one?
It says that there's a unique experience full of savage combat and mystical adventures. You are Kahal, a powerful Garo who can transform into a wolf, and a Krynos, a huge ferocious beast.
Oh, it's like an ultimate super wolf? So you got basic wolf,
and
then you get like every now and then super wolf, right?
Krynos, werewolf.
You become the alpha werewolf.
It's a big werewolf.
On their website, they've got an image of a werewolf fighting a dude who's in the same suit that Ripley fought the alien in, like that big yellow mech suit. But it's got a spinning saw blade as an arm. This is cool. It's a good image. There looks like there's like a wasteland to explore. I'm 100% into this.
I'm down. I'll play.
Okay, so you can play as a human, a full wolf, and then the werewolf is kind of like a mix between the two. This looks dope.
When is this coming out? What day?
February 4th.
That's 3 days from now.
3 days from now is werewolf action.
It comes out on Thursday.
What platform?
Yeah, there's no way I'm beating Cyber Shadow before then.
I think it's coming out. I believe it's coming out everywhere.
Yeah, so PlayStation 5, Series X, 4, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC. Yeah, everywhere except for Switch.
No Switch. Yeah.
No Switch.
Oh man, February's a good month.
Didn't realize. Cool.
Yes. Starting tomorrow.
Oh, and then tomorrow there's the Genshin Impact update.
1.3. What?
1.3.
In a last minute or last second try to pull, I spent some gems that I had earned in the game, and I pulled Ganyu.
Ooh, nice.
I was happy.
You have her. Thank goodness. She's great.
I'm uncomfortably addicted to Genshin Impact.
So do you guys remember that game that we were talking about? I think it was last summer called King of Seas, where it looks exactly like
Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves. But it's like an action role playing game.
Is that out right now? Are you telling me, Brian, that it's released?
No,
Is it coming out tomorrow?
It's coming out this February though. It's coming out on the 18th.
Ooh. What's it called?
PlayStation 4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. A King of Seas.
King of Seas.
It looks exactly like Sea of Thieves, but it's
coming out on the Switch.
Yeah. How are they going to make that game fit on the Switch?
Who knows? They say that it's an action role-playing game set in a deadly, procedurally generated pirate world.
Oof, I hate those words.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be fun depending on what type of game it is, but I feel like there's not a whole lot of games where it works really, really well.
It's tough to do it good, right? The amount of care and attention that has to be put into it is like they have to really polish everything.
I'm going to check it out, though. Fuck it. It looks like fun. I like Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
This game is like Sea of Thieves.
Sea of Thieves, but like it's a solo adventure for you, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so.
It's on Unreal Engine, so that means I can't play it on a PC. So it looks like I'll be getting it.
Is it all Unreal Engine games are not working for you on your PC?
I don't know.
That's so weird, Watts. You might have to do like a full-on fresh install.
I might.
Windows.
Honestly, I might.
She just did. You just did a fresh install, right?
I did recently, yeah. But like on the gaming PC, if there's a problem and I'm like, you know what? Sure, why not? Because I have like 3 games installed.
Same.
So it's like, sure, I'll do a fresh install. It'll take me a tiny amount of time, and then I just download the 2 games that I keep installed all the time.
Yeah, this is why I don't keep any personal data on my C drive.
Yeah,
if I need to wipe out Windows, no problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that's the best. Yeah,
I have absolutely nothing on my gaming PC.
Yeah, my gaming PC is basically a console. This game, another game coming out called Hellpoint looks kind of interesting.
Hellpoint?
Hellpoint.
Yeah.
I'm going to Google that. Hellpoint. Video game. Teach me about it. So it say 40% on Steam. Wow.
Ooh.
Let's see. It's an intense action RPG taking place on Irid Novo, a derelict space station soaked in an intoxicating dark sci-fi atmosphere. Fight dreadful creatures, face the cosmic gods, and unravel their twisted story. And you can play with a friend in local or online co-op if you would like to. Yeah, it's a game. It looks. It's got like that. It's got the typical thing of, has this game been inspired by the Souls series?
Mm-hmm.
Which
Souls-like.
Souls-like, yes. Souls-like. I'm down to try any kind of Souls-like-ish game. I don't know if it's a Souls-like game.
25th.
25th, got it.
It says that it came out July 30th, 2020.
Oh, did it come out on console and then they're just doing it on
PC this is just a Switch release.
Oh, Switch release.
I mean, it's still a pretty new game. It came out last summer. It's not super old.
And then it's coming out in March. Right.
Dude, March, I can't wait.
Terminator Resistance Enhanced Edition.
That's totally the game that I'm excited about.
March is packed, man. We have Returnal coming, which is like the roguelite third-person action shooter, which I personally love roguelites. Like, I really enjoy them. I get engrossed in them, especially if they've done like Hades, right? Where there's a story behind you dying and coming back. I love that.
Yeah, that's really cool.
I'm excited about that. And we have Monster Hunter Rise.
Dude, also Kena, right? Kena Bridges?
Yeah, the Bridges. So they keep saying, well, we haven't like super confirmed it's coming in March.
Oh, it might get bumped.
That it's kind of coming in March.
They're like, they want it to be March, but it might not.
I just don't release it at the same time as Monster Hunter.
They need to put Kena in the front of March, so then you have plenty of time to play it. So then Monster Hunter hits at the end of March, and then boom.
Front
We're
of
all
March
happy.
Would be amazing.
Right? Oh, when does Outriders come out?
April 1st.
April 1st. Okay. So then Outriders is directly after that.
Oh, boy.
Yep.
Ooh,
it's going to be a wild ride.
March going into April is looking like looking like it's September.
Can you imagine releasing a game
Outriders
on
is
April 1st?
getting more interesting the longer I kind of watch
Right?
it. When I first saw it, I'm like, oh, this looks like they are just blatantly copying Destiny. But now
It's looking
I'm
good.
kind of like,
It's
looking
really
good.
April 1st for a release date? That's crazy.
Yeah.
April
Does anyone
Fools?
do that ever?
I know, right?
I don't think so.
You can't take anything serious on April 1st.
Yeah, Outriders is one of those games where I was like, okay, well, it's a looter game. I love looter games, so I will always be down to check out a new looter game that looks polished.
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't super excited about it. But then they started putting out like gear sets and the legendary gear that you can get and all that stuff. And the more and more I see of it, I'm getting really excited about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I think, especially for us looter fans, we most likely will have a good time.
Yep. I'm sure they're going to have some sort of beta or something, people to try out.
They do, actually.
Yeah.
I remember them talking about. Oh yeah, Returnal got delayed, didn't it?
Got bumped.
It was supposed to come out in March.
Still no release date for Roller Champions, unfortunately.
Yeah,
that'll be good.
Roller
Get your
Champions.
roller derby action going.
Briar needs his
Roller
roller champions.
It's true.
Have you guys ever been to a roller derby?
Yeah.
They're pretty
I have,
fun.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's a pretty good scene.
We better wrap up this episode, guys. Episode
We
number
probably
80.
should.
I don't want to. I
SideQuest.
want to keep talking about
We
cool
could just
games.
keep talking. We'll just stay here all day.
I have to run
What
a
if we
UPS
just-
before it closes, unfortunately.
Oh,
Yeah.
What if we just stay live for another hour and a half or something?
Then I'll have to leave.
Maybe we
Go
stay
to the post
live
office,
while
go to
Briar
UPS.
Come back.
finishes the medium while we're still doing the podcast.
oh man.
And then we can do spoiler discussion right after he's done.
So I tend to take a lot of breaks during that game because I get like creeped out. I'm like, I'm gonna go take a quick trip to somewhere else.
That's
Dog,
hilarious.
don't you need to be walked again?
Yeah, don't you want to go
mean,
for a ride?
Memes was watching me play it the whole time. There was a few times where she was like, "I'm putting the pillow in front of my face.
Yeah.
Let me know when it's over."
There were
That's what I do during movies. I like look at my phone or something. I'm like, what's going on Twitter?
there are moments in that game where I was like, I feel a bit wobbly wibbly in my tummy. I feel slight uncomfortable. I feel the heebie-jeebies.
All right. Well, that is episode number 80. SideQuest. Thank you very much for watching, hanging out.
Thank you, everyone.
Shout out to everyone listening live, also listening on the podcast platforms, and shout out to our Patreon members and our Twitch subs that are supporting the shows. Thank you very much, guys. We really do appreciate all the support.
We do appreciate it very
Yeah.
much. Check out the YouTube this week to see a picture of me and Briar together.
Yeah.
Yeah. An exclusive.
Watts, where can people find you?
You can find me on Twitter, Twitch, and YouTube. Just look for Miss 5000 Watts. You can also check out the second YouTube channel, which is just Watts Plays. It's where I just straight up upload VODs, no editing, because catching up on Twitch VODs can be a bit of a pain in the ass. It resets where you are all the time.
Oh,
YouTube is better
that's
for
rough.
that.
Also, it
Yeah.
expires after 30 or 60 days on
It
Twitch.
expires, yeah. So I just throw it all on that YouTube channel so you can
Nice.
catch up on stuff.
What is Medium up there yet?
It is indeed.
Nice. The complete playthrough already.
The final playthrough, the final part is uploading now. And yeah, the rest of it before that is all there. It'll be up to date.
You know, the crazy part about putting like long videos up on that is like, it's basically like a crapshoot. Like, when is YouTube going to decide to process this? I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I've had so many times where Twitch first is like, well, we're thinking about pushing it to YouTube. I don't know. Check back with us in a little bit. And then it gets to YouTube and they're like, I don't know. I'll process it when I feel like it. So it could take 5 minutes. It could take friggin' a day
Pretty
and a
much,
half.
yeah.
Who knows? Who
Yeah.
knows?
That's why I stopped doing that with the podcast. I used to just push it straight from Twitch to our YouTube channel.
Mm-hmm.
And I stopped doing that
forever,
because
right?
it was like, I'd wake up the next morning after doing the podcast and it was still processing, or it had completely aired out.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the
It's like,
worst, right?
Nope.
Yep.
Where can people find you?
I'm Briar Rabbit. You can find me. Actually, you can find me practicing. I'm currently training. I'm training my boxing skills for an all-out brawl with Jay Sniberton. We are going toe-to-toe in the squared circle with Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Whoever can make it the furthest in the game by next Tuesday, not this Tuesday, not tomorrow, not Tuesday the 2nd, but Tuesday the 9th, if I'm doing my math correctly, which I'm probably not. Tuesday the 9th, we got the Retro Slot podcast. and we're gonna square off. We're gonna do this.
Who's got the best score?
Mike Tyson's Punch Out. Not fucking Punch Out with Mr. Dream either. Goddamn hippies.
Right, I wish you the best, man. Good luck on that.
Yeah. I have been practicing, and it's going to be a slow start, apparently. I cannot beat the bald bull currently, which is an early fight.
Oh, man. I am Tefty Teft. You can talk to me at Teft on Twitter. And I recently dropped a review of The Medium that I put on my YouTube channel. If you search Tefty or Tefty Teft and then The Medium review or something like that, it should pop up. Or you can go to my Twitter and see the link for it there. And I've been actually really enjoying getting back into doing reviews again. I was saying before that it reminds me of doing Planet Destiny gun reviews, but I'm not doing the same gun over and over and over again. I'm getting to play new games and then review them methodically. And I've been enjoying that. So looking forward to doing more of that. That's it.
Nice.
Thanks for watching.
Yeah.
We'll
Thanks,
see you
everybody.
Thursday for DCP Live, and the rest is history.
The rest is history. The rest is what's a medium thing I could say? The rest is
Sadness.
True. True. I cried. Okay.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.